Wellness Rhythm Show. Find your rhythm. Live your wellness.
Y'all, let me tell you about a Tuesday I had about 6 months ago. I was on my phone handling a school pickup situation, simultaneously texting my mom's doctor's office, and I realized I hadn't eaten since 7 that morning. It was 4:30 in the afternoon, and my back was screaming at me.
Right, and that is not just a bad day, that is actually a clinical pattern. The American Psychological Association has a term for people in exactly that position. They call it the sandwich generation. Roughly 23% of adults are simultaneously raising children and caring for an aging parent.
And here's the thing, though. We talk a lot about the emotional weight of that. The guilt, the mental load. But today we're going specifically into the body. What does all of this actually do to you physically?
Because the body keeps a very honest ledger, and for millions of people in their 40s and 50s, that ledger is overdue for a review.
So let's just define this properly. Who are we actually talking about? Because I think some people hear sandwich generation and picture a very specific scenario.
Right, here's what I've learned. The Pew Research Center puts the core demographic at adults aged 40 to 55, raising kids, supporting parents financially or physically, often also at peak career demand. You're being pulled in 3 directions at once.
Or 4, because you're also supposed to be taking care of yourself in there somewhere.
Which brings us to the physical side. And the research here is genuinely sobering. A 2020 study published in the Journal of Aging and Health found that informal caregivers, meaning unpaid family caregivers, reported significantly higher rates of musculoskeletal pain, sleep disruption, and immune dysregulation compared to non-caregivers.
Musculoskeletal pain, translation, your neck, your back, your hips. The whole chassis is just giving you feedback.
Constantly, and the mechanism isn't mysterious. Lifting, transferring, bending. If you're helping a parent move around, these are real physical loads that most people in their 40s aren't conditioned for.
I actually threw out my back helping my dad get out of a car, a standard car. He's not even that dependent yet, and I wasn't ready for it, physically or mentally.
And that is incredibly common. The Caregiver Action Network estimates that over 53 million Americans are providing unpaid care. Most of them have zero training in safe movement or body mechanics.
So right there is a gap. Nobody hands you a manual when your parent gets a diagnosis and suddenly needs more from you.
Let's dig deeper into the research here because the sleep piece is where it gets really alarming for long-term health. Dr. Leah Brennan's work at Georgetown on caregiver health showed that chronic sleep deprivation in caregivers correlates with elevated cortisol, that's the stress hormone, and that sustained cortisol elevation drives inflammation.
And inflammation is basically the root of everything bad. Heart disease, metabolic issues, joint deterioration.
Exactly, it's not dramatic, it's cumulative. And here's the detail most people miss. It's not just the interrupted sleep, it's the anticipatory wakefulness. Lying there waiting for something to go wrong.
Oh, I know that mode. One ear always open, your nervous system just cannot fully switch off.
Which physiologically keeps you in a low-grade stress response, even when nothing is actively happening. The body doesn't distinguish well between actual threat and anticipated threat.
Okay, so... And this is where I want to push back a little because I know our listeners are practical people. Someone might be hearing this and thinking, great, I'm already exhausted. And now you're telling me I'm slowly deteriorating. What am I actually supposed to do with that?
Brilliant point, Emma. And I want to be careful here because the research does offer genuinely actionable pathways. This is not just a diagnosis with no prescription.
Let's go there. Because here's the thing, though. I've actually made some specific changes in the last year, and the difference has been real.
Right. The first thing I'd point people to is body mechanics training, not a gym program, not a fitness overhaul, simply learning how to lift, pivot, and assist without compromising your lumbar spine. The American Physical Therapy Association has free resources specifically for family caregivers.
And this is something I found through my own PT. Just knowing to hinge at the hips instead of rounding the back when I'm helping someone from a chair. It sounds basic, but nobody taught me that.
Because we assume it's intuitive, it's not. And for listeners who might be doing this in the context of a parent in a wheelchair or with mobility issues, there are specific caregiver training programs through organizations like the National Alliance for Caregiving.
Now, the sleep thing. I want to talk about that because I feel like people hear, fix your sleep and roll their eyes. You can't just meditate away a situation where your mom is calling at 2 a.m.
And I would never suggest otherwise. But there's an interesting distinction researchers make between sleep quantity and sleep architecture. Dr. Matthew Walker at UC Berkeley and his book Why We Sleep is worth the read, talks about how even partial sleep improvement, like protecting a 90-minute deep sleep cycle, can blunt that cortisol spike meaningfully.
So it's not about getting a perfect 8 hours. It's about protecting whatever window you have.
Precisely. And if you're sharing caregiving with a sibling or partner, this is where deliberate sleep shift agreements can help. It's structured, not hopeful.
Y'all, this is the kind of conversation I wish I'd had 3 years ago. And honestly, if this is resonating, please do us a favor and hit like and subscribe wherever you're listening. We do this every week, and it genuinely helps us reach people who need these conversations.
Right, we'd appreciate that enormously. And it keeps the algorithm gods happy, which apparently matters.
Ha, it does. Okay, let's talk about something I wasn't expecting to be important, which is cardiovascular load. Because I thought caregiving stress was emotional stress, but there's a physical cardiovascular piece?
There is. The Nurses' Health Study, one of the longest-running studies in American medical history, found that women providing more than 9 hours of caregiving per week had a statistically significant increased risk of coronary heart disease. Not just feeling stressed, actual cardiac events.
That number stopped me cold when I first read it. 9 hours a week is not a lot. That is absolutely my Tuesday.
And the pathway is that cortisol inflammation arterial wall damage chain again. It's the same mechanism. Which is why cardiologists like Dr. Nika Goldberg at NYU Langone have specifically called for caregiver cardiovascular screening.
So, and I want to be responsible here, we're not saying see a cardiologist tomorrow in a panic. We're saying take this seriously as a physical health matter, not just an emotional one.
Correct. Know your numbers. Blood pressure, resting heart rate, CRP if you can get it. That's C-reactive protein, a marker of inflammation. Just know where you are.
From another angle, there's a practical integration piece that I think gets missed, which is that caregivers often give up their own movement routines because there's no time. And the irony is that's when you need movement most.
The research here is unambiguous. A 2019 meta-analysis in the Gerontologist, journal published by Oxford University Press, found that caregivers who maintained even 20 minutes of moderate movement daily reported significantly lower perceived stress and lower inflammatory markers.
20 minutes, that's real. That's possible even on a Wednesday when everything is on fire.
And it doesn't need to be structured exercise, walking, gardening. A brief yoga sequence from Adriana Mischler's YouTube channel, which is free and genuinely good. Any of these count toward that threshold.
Here's the thing though, and this is my honest skepticism check. I have days where even 20 minutes feels like a fantasy. When someone has an appointment, a medication change, a bad night, how do we talk to that listener?
Honestly and without judgment. On those days, the research suggests even 5 minutes of deliberate slow breathing. The work of Dr. Andrew Huberman at Stanford Neurosciences has popularized this. Activates the parasympathetic nervous system enough to lower cortisol measurably.
So on the worst days, the minimum effective dose is basically breathe with intention for 5 minutes.
That's not a dismissal of the complexity, that's a lifeline.
Okay, I want to land this in a practical place. If you are in the sandwich generation and your body is talking to you through pain, through fatigue, through just feeling ground down, the most important reframe today is this. Your physical health is not a luxury that comes after the caregiving. It is part of the caregiving. You cannot pour from an empty vessel, and now we know there is actual science behind why that matters.
Right, the one most actionable step I'd give anyone leaving this episode: contact the American Physical Therapy Association or the National Alliance for Caregiving this week. Not someday, this week. Get one piece of practical training for your specific caregiving situation. Small, targeted, free. That is a realistic start.
Y'all, thank you so much for spending this time with us today. You are not alone in this, genuinely. And if you found value here, please share this episode with someone who needs it. Maybe a sibling who's also in the thick of it. Maybe a friend. And of course, like and subscribe so we keep landing in your feed.
Until next time, take care of the caregiver. That's you, by the way.
This show is part of the VoxCrea.ai system. If you want a show like this for your organization without building it yourself,
go to voxcrea.ai and request a sample episode.